Thanks for watching this video on how to migrate Blue Prism Virtual Business Objects, or VBOs, to Microsoft Power Automate Desktop. A business object, or VBO, in Blue Prism is a reusable component. So here you see a couple of processes reusing both action A and action B within the object A. Now, by default, if you migrate with Blueprint, this is what you will get in the pad side. Process 1 will become its own flow with subflows A and B. Process 2 will also be its own flow, again with subflows A and B. And this is not necessarily a good thing because we're copying code. Action A and Action B, their code has been copied and will be copied for any other migrations that use that object. So that's what happens by default using our standard export. If you use the new VBO export feature, what you'll get in pad is this. Action A and Action B will become their own reusable flows. And then all subsequent migrations, in this case process 1, process 2, and so on, will call the same or share the same object actions. So no code is being copied, which helps manage the quality of the entire estate by not having redundancy. Let me show you how this works. Here I am in Blueprint. I've already imported a small BP release, and you can see the familiar pattern of process and object. So I have one process and I have multiple objects. And all the actions within those objects you can see just by expanding. So this Blue Prism training bot uses some of these actions. So I'm just going to do a default export. I'll take this main, I will activate it, which allows me to export, and then I'll export to Power Automate Desktop. I won't bother to regenerate rules. And this gives me a preview of what's going to go out. So as you can see, my Blue Prism training bot is calling many things, some of which are the actions you saw in those objects. Certainly these launch and attach and launch and login and attach. Let me send that off to pad, and I'll expand the object so we can refresh our memory of what those were. So I have some launch and attach and launch and logins, which are classic actions you're going to find in these objects. Now let's go over to Power Automate Desktop and see what that flow looks like. So here we are in the flow that was converted. And if I look at subflows, as mentioned, you can see launch and login, launch, get table data is another one. And they are subflows being called from the main process code. Let's go back to Blueprint, and this time I'm going to do something different. I'm going to take this object, I'm going to activate it, and I'm going to export it all by itself. And what I'm going to use is the second menu option, Export as a VBO. Tells me what it's going to do. It'll export the entire VBO, that means all of these actions, with each action becoming its own flow tagged with the name of the VBO so we can find it easily. So I'm going to say, yes, I want to do that. Again, I get a preview now, but it's of this object. And I can also see that some of these actions are calling other actions, which is nice to know. But I will send that off to pad. Now let's go over to Power Automate Desktop and see what landed. And here you can see the actions from that VBO, including get table data, and that it's been tagged with Acme. Now that's important because you can have hundreds, thousands of desktop flows. But all you need to do is filter by tag and search, in this case, for VBO Acme. And even though I may have thousands of flows, it's very easy to find and see my VBO as an integral unit. In addition to exporting each VBO action as its own flow, another thing Blueprint did was automatically configure rules. So it created one rule for each of those actions, mapping those actions to the corresponding flow in Power Automate Desktop with its ID. This means every subsequent export of a process that uses these actions will, instead of calling a subflow, we'll call these reusable components. So let's try that out quickly. I'm going to take this training bot again, and I will export it a second time. Let's go see what ended up in pad. So here we are in pad. There are subflows again, but the ones for Acme are not there. Specifically, that get table data was one I recall. So run flow, do a search, and there we are. calling get table data as an external desktop flow, which is this reusable component. So by default, you will get functional code. It'll just have copies of the VBO actions. Using this VBO export feature, you can easily get reusable components. If you have questions about any of our other features, please see the other feature-focused videos we have or contact us at info@blueprintsys.com. Thank you for watching.